So in the last video, we have talked about the need for loops, right? And so we have decided that if you want to repeat something, loops can be a good thing. And we also talked about there are different types of loops, right? We have while loop, do while loop, for loop. In this video, let's try to understand the first loop, which is while loop. So we'll go for the same statement here. If you can see, we are printing hi. And again, as I mentioned before, ignore this X. This is a suggestion given by your VS Code. This is what we are typing, just hi. And what I want to do is I want to print this hi multiple times. So what we can do is we can say, hey, Java, I want to print this multiple times. Java will say, okay, the first thing you do is you put this in a block. Of course, it's not compulsory when you have one statement, but just to understand, just to get started, we are putting that in a block now. And then, of course, we have to follow indentation as well, and we are doing that. Now, what we can do is we can say, hey, Java, I want to run this 5 times. So Java will say, okay, if you want to repeat, you have to use a keyword called while. Now, in English as well, we normally use while to say repeat something, or while it is true, do that. So here we can say while it is what? In this bracket, you have to mention, is it true or false? Now, basically, that's how while works. So if you say true, it will just keep printing this hi because we are saying true. It says, okay, while I'm true, I will keep printing it. So that's why if you just run this code just by mentioning the while, you can see we are getting hi. It just keep printing, okay? It's not stopping. If you can see, if I try to scroll down, it is continuously happening. And maybe it will fill my RAM and it will crash. Okay, I don't think so. But let me stop this execution. Otherwise, there will be an issue. So what we can do is, I don't want to continue this for a long time. I want to do that for a particular condition. Maybe I want to say, I want a counter which will start from 1 and it will stop at 5. Oh, when I say counter, it means I need a variable where I can store the value. So what we can do is, here, I can just come up and I can say int I is equal to, let's say, 1. Now, most of the time when you use loops, you will be using a variable name I. It's not compulsory, we can use any variable name, but it makes sense, right? Because normally when you go inside the while you are executing something, you are changing the values of the I, you basically increment it, right? So it makes sense to call it as an iterator, which will iterate. So I, iterator, makes sense. And that's why most of the time you will say I, j, but as I mentioned, you can use any variable of your choice. So we are using I here, which is I is equal to 1. And then what we can do is, every time you run this loop, after printing hi, you can just increment the value of I. Oh, but then how do we increment? And we have seen that, right? We have a concept of I++. So I++ will simply increment the value of I. Okay, that makes sense. And oh, how do I check for the condition? See, it makes sense now because I is 1 and every time you run this loop, the I value will increase, right? So if you run this while for, let's say, 5 times, it will increment the value of I. Let me show you. What I will do is I will print hi as well as I will print, maybe you can print both the things on the same line. You just have to give a space after hi and I can give a plus symbol. So when you want to concatenate 2 different things, hi and a number, we can use a plus operator. Yeah, plus works in that way. It works for addition as well as it works to concatenate 2 things. And here I'm writing I. Now let's see what's the output is. Again, I have not changed the condition, so it will print infinite times. But I just want to see what happens. If I compile this code and run, you can see the value of I is incrementing continuously. And you can see it's so fast. It depends upon your machine speed as well. And let me know when you try on your machine how fast it is. So what I want to do is I want to stop this somewhere. So we have to apply a condition. How do I stop it? So we have to say if I is less than equal to 4. So what it will do is it will check for the condition. Remember, we have talked about this in relational operators. It will continuously check for the condition. So how it runs is initially it will set the value of I as 1. And then in the while loop, it will check if the value of I, which is 1, is less than 4, yes, it will continue. It will go inside the loop. It will print hi. It will also print the number, which is 1. And then it will increment the value of I. What next? It will go back to while loop and again it will check for the condition because that's a while, right? It will continuously happening. It will again check for the condition where it says, okay, I value now it's 2. So 2 is less than 4, yes, and it will continue. At the end, when the I value becomes 4, it will check 4 is less than or equal to 4, yes. It will print high and 4 as well. So we got 4 iterations, and then it will increment the value of I, which is, it will make it 5. It will go back here and it will check, is 5 less than or equal to 4? False. And that's where it will jump out of the loop. So remember this thing, the moment your while gets a false here, it will not execute this block. Cool, right? Now, after saying all those things, let's try to compile and run. And you can see we got high 1, high 2, high 3, and high 4. That's how while loop works. Now with this, I have a question for everyone here. And the question is, what if at the end, I'm just saying s out, and I'm saying buy, and with this buy, I'm printing the value of I. What do you think? What will be the output of I? Okay, try to guess it. I'm just running this code to show you the output. Compile, run. You can see we got all the values here. But with buy, you got 5. You know why? It's because we got false here when the value of I is 5. And that's why you got the value here. Now, since I is declared outside the loop, the value will be maintained. Okay, now one more thing here. I want to run this in a debug mode. Let me show you how it works in a debug mode. So what I can do is I can go to run and I can say start debugging. Okay, so there are some options. Okay, for debugging, you have to basically, you have to set the checkpoints. What I will do is I will just set the checkpoint here. So basically, debug is an awesome feature in programming where you can set the checkpoint. This is where you want to iterate one by one. So normally when you run the code, it will directly give all the output, right? What if you want to see the steps? So it makes sense. Let me just clear this. And again, I will go into run and get into the debug mode. Okay, so you can see we are in debug mode now. And here on the left-hand side, we got variables. We got local A and I, we have 2 variables. You know why we got A is because of this A variable here. But at this point, we want to ignore that. We want to focus only on I variable. And the value of I at this point is 1. You can see that I is 1. But now, if I say step into, you can see we got system.out.println. It will print the high and I, the value of I, which is 1. Okay, I want to go step into. Now it will increment the value of I. You can see we got the output as well. We got high 1. And then when I say step over, it will go for the next step. And you can see before executing it, the value of I is 1. But once I execute that statement, the value of I now becomes 2. Can you see that? It went back to while loop. And this will keep happening for I value 2, I value 3, I value 4 as well. The moment your value of I becomes 5 here, you can see the value of I is 5 now. It is checking and it falls. It will jump out of the loop and it will print by with the value 5. So that's how your while loop works. In fact, what you can also do is we can run a nested loop here. Now, how a nested loop looks like. Let's say I want to print I1 and then I want to do something else. Maybe I want to print hello 3 times after every hi. So let's say I'm printing hi here and then I want to print hello as well. And I don't want to print the value of I anymore. Or maybe let's print the value of I. Let's see what happens. If you keep the value of I here and then incrementing it here as well, that makes sense. But now what I want to do is I want to, after printing this hi, I want to print hello 3 times. Now in that case, I can simply say hello and I can write the same statement multiple times, right? That's how the loop works, right? So I will say hello, hello, and you can see we got hello 3 times. But don't you think we are doing the same thing multiple times? So it makes sense to put that in a loop. So I can simply say while, oh, but what should be the condition? Can I say I is less than equal to 3? No, right? Because see, I want this hello 3 times for every hi. So hi we are getting 4 times. And for every hi, I want hello 3 times. So the same variable will not work. In that case, what you have to do is, you need to work with a different variable. And I will create one more variable here which is called j, and the value of j initially will be 1. And then every time you execute this while loop where it prints hi, it will jump inside here. It will set the value of j as 1. It will set the value, it will check for the condition where j should be less than equal to 3. And then every time you do that, let me open the curly brackets. And we can put this hello statement in here. So we don't have to put this thing now. I can just simply say hello, and of course I want to print j++ as well. And remember this thing, we are saying j++ in the inner while loop, and then we are saying the I++ in the outer loop. Okay. If you want to understand this with an analogy, just go with an example of days in a week. So we have multiple days in a week, right? So we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday I've already mentioned. We basically want Sunday twice a week. But anyway, so if you talk about these days, every day we have 24 hours, right? So if you say this is 1 p.m. on Monday, again, the Monday gets over, the clock will start at 0, right? Then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it continues, right? As the day changes, the clock repeats. In the same way, once your I is incrementing, it's like a days, Monday, Tuesday, the inner loop, you can imagine that's as a number of hours, it will keep incrementing. But after 3, it will go back to 1 because it will complete the inner loop, it will go back to outer loop, and again the value of j will become 1. Let me show you how it works. Let me just compile this code, compile and run. You can see we got high. Oh, we are still printing 1 here. You know what I will do? I will also print j so that you can see the value of j as incrementing it. And let me give a space here as well. Let me say clear, compile, run. So you can see we got high 1, and then it is going for the inner loop now. So once you execute this high, it will go for the inner loop where we are saying j is less than 3. So basically it will print this statement 3 times because the value of j is less than equal to 3. So it will iterate 3 times. And then again it will go for the outer loop. So the moment this is false, it will execute I++ where it will make I 2. It will go back to the upper loop again. It will say, okay, now the value of I is 2. Is 2 less than equal to 4? Yes. It will go inside, it will print the value of high, which is high 2. Again, it will make the value of j as 1. And that's why it is incrementing again. Cool, right? So this is basically called a nested while loop. So that's it from this video where we have talked about how to create a while loop, how to use a nested loops using while loop. So I hope you enjoyed. In the next video, we'll talk about do while loop.